How often do you go to the gym, Ben?
Oh, I never go to the gym. I think the gym's boring. I prefer team games. I'm in the volleyball club at school, and I play in a football team at the weekend. Why?
Well, I want to get fit. I sometimes play tennis with my friends, but that's just for fun. I want to do something new.
Well, come to volleyball practice. It's good fun, and you can get fit.
Hello, I'd like the cheese salad to start and fish and chips for my main course, please.
I'm sorry, there's no fish today. The chicken is very good, and we do a lovely pizza. You can have salad or chips with both.
Oh, I don't eat meat and I don't want more salad. Is the pizza vegetarian?
Yes, it is. It's cheese and tomato. It's very popular with our customers.
Do you want to eat now? They do some really good low-fat hamburgers and low-sugar desserts in the cafe.
No thanks. I'm not hungry. Let's go to the gym first. I want to do a workout.
Okay. You go to the gym. I want to go to the swimming pool. I can see you in the cafe after that.
Okay. See you later.
Hello, everyone.
Hi there. As you can see, we're looking a bit different today.
Yeah, what do you think? Looking good, right?
You see, we're going to our aunt's wedding today. That's why we aren't wearing our usual clothes. We're wearing these instead. I'm wearing a pretty pale blue skirt, and I love my beautiful cream top.
And for me, it's goodbye to my usual jeans and t-shirt look because I've got a white shirt on with a dark red tie and a very cool black jacket. And this isn't a skirt. It's a kilt. Scottish families have got different colours on their kilts. We're the McGregor family, and our kilts are red and dark green. We usually wear them on important days and for big family parties, like weddings. I hardly ever have the chance to wear mine, but I love it.
You know, a lot of countries have their own clothes for special events. Indian women often wear beautiful long pink or red dresses at their wedding, which are always colourful events. These dresses are called saris. I love this red and gold sari this bride is wearing. It's gorgeous.
Many Chinese couples wear red at weddings too, because it's a lucky colour. In Norway, some couples wear a traditional wedding costume called a bunad. As you can see, the men wear long white socks and short black trousers with a pair of black shoes.
And in some parts of Peru, the traditional wedding costumes are very colourful and beautiful. These women have got long skirts and special wedding ponchos, a long piece of material you wear over your shoulders. And just look at those big, beautiful hats. And in Ghana...
Zara, sorry to interrupt, but the wedding is in, an hour.
Oh, Sorry about this, folks. But before we go, have you got any videos of a wedding in your country? Or any photos of you in your national costumes? Send them to us and tell us all about them.
But right now, it's time for us to go. See you later, guys.
Bye!
What clothes has your couple got?
He's got a pale blue shirt with a dark grey tie. He's also got long, dark blue trousers. She's got a beautiful pale pink dress and she's got a short white jacket on. What about your couple?
She's got a short, orange t-shirt and a long, dark pink skirt. And she's got a big, purple hat on her head, too. He's got a pale yellow t-shirt and he's got short, green trousers, long cream socks, and big, dark brown shoes on his feet.
Hi, I'm Nick, and I'm from Boston. In the USA, we have high school graduation when we're 18 years old. Our families come to watch while the school band is playing music. This is my family photo. We're standing in front of my school. I usually wear jeans and a t-shirt, but I'm not wearing them in this photo. I'm wearing a white shirt with a dark blue tie under my graduation costume. And I'm holding a black jacket in one hand and my school yearbook in the other. My dad's standing next to me. He's wearing dark gray trousers and a light blue shirt. My mom's sitting next to him, and she's holding her bag, and she's wearing a long cream skirt with a black top and shoes. My sister is wearing a pretty dark red dress, and she's looking at her phone. The boy next to her is wearing a pale yellow shirt and black trousers. He isn't my brother. He's my cousin. You can't see my uncle. That's because he's taking the photo.
Hello and welcome to our podcast. Today, we've got Jane Wallace with us, who's here to talk about her new book on the culture of clothes. Jane, I'm reading it now, and it's really interesting. You talk about traditional clothes from around the world. You also say that it isn't always okay to wear national costumes, for example, to a party. I know a lot of people are talking about this on the internet at the moment, but it's a difficult subject. Can you please explain it?
Of course I can, Matt. It's fine to wear your country's national costume to a party, but it isn't always a good idea to wear one from another culture. It can hurt people and make them feel bad.
I'm not sure I understand. What do you mean?
Well, for example, in the USA and Canada at this time of year, lots of teenagers and adults are going to costume parties. Some of them are wearing things such as big Mexican hats or traditional German trousers, but they don't know anything about the culture of those countries. They just want to look cool or funny. And there are many photos on the internet of U.S. students in national costumes like Chinese dresses at their high school graduation. And famous people, for example, pop stars, sometimes wear Indian clothes, such as saris, in their videos. The first problem is These people aren't from India or China, and they haven't got any family like grandparents living there. Secondly, they don't want to understand the culture of these countries. They just like their beautiful clothes.
So you're saying the important thing is the reason why somebody wears a national costume?
Yes, exactly. I'd like to show you 2 photos in my book which I use as examples. Here's a group of dancers. They're from Japan. In this photo, they are practicing a dance called flamenco, a traditional Spanish dance. They are wearing flamenco costumes, like long, colorful dresses or long skirts and a top. Also, some dancers are wearing hats or have bright red or pink flowers in their hair. Here, it's fine because the traditional costumes are an important part of the dance. Now, in the second photo, the girls are wearing Japanese kimonos, but they aren't from Tokyo. They're from Toronto in Canada. The problem here is they don't know much about Japanese culture, such as the traditions or history. They're wearing them for a party at their high school.
I see. But does this mean we can't use anything from any other cultures?
Of course not. We can still have international food, for example, Chinese chicken or Greek yogurt. We can also enjoy music like British rock or K-pop. And we can wear an I Love New York t-shirt. But before we use important things from other cultures, such as their national costume, we need to ask ourselves this question. Am I wearing it because I understand the country's culture, or am I just using it for fun?
Thank you, Jane. I understand what you are saying, but I'm not sure I completely agree with it.
Right. I'm taking a photo of us before we go to the school costume party.
Let's see it. Wow, we look so good in these costumes. What are you doing, Jake?
I'm sharing it on my social media page right now.
Jake, stop! I don't want you to share that photo online.
Why not, Ollie?
Lots of reasons. Firstly, because we're wearing these cat costumes.
So? I think we look really funny.
Me too, but think about the future. Do you want people to find this photo of you in 5 years' time? For example, a university or a business.
And see me in this costume? No, not really. But only my friends and family can see my photos.
What if one of your friends downloads our photo and posts it on their social media?
Oh, I guess you're right.
And another thing, now everybody knows that we're going out this evening, and we aren't at home.
Why is that a problem?
Think about it. In this photo, we're standing here in your bedroom, and everybody can see all your expensive things, like your volleyball medals, for example.
Ah, you're right. I'm deleting it now.
Thanks, Jake.
It shows a group of people. They look about 16 or 17. I think they're friends or classmates. The girl in the foreground has got long, wavy blonde hair and pale blue eyes. She's wearing a shirt, some jeans, socks and shoes. She's talking on the phone and she looks serious. Maybe she's talking to her parents about a problem she's got. In the background, there are 2 boys and a girl. They're sitting down and they're all wearing tops and dark jeans. The girl in the middle is holding a computer. The boy on the right looks friendly because he's smiling. I think he is looking at something funny on the computer. The boy on the left looks bored. Maybe they're doing their homework together.
Hi guys, it's just me today. I have exams this week, but Callum is house-sitting for our cousin James. He's a student and he lives in Liverpool. It's Callum's first time there and it looks like he's having a great time. But I really want to see the flat. I love seeing other people's homes. And I've got lots of photos from Callum. Do you want to take a virtual tour? Come on in and let's take a look. Okay, so this is the living room and also the hall. Callum says the flat is very small and the front door opens right into the living room. What do you think? I mean, the sofa looks comfortable, but I'm not a fan of the colour and I don't like that carpet on the floor. Okay, over here's a big cupboard, which looks useful. And the room isn't dirty. It's actually pretty tidy. So, it's okay, I guess. Let's check out the next photo. The kitchen. Oh, this is nice. It looks narrow, but it's very clean, and I like those plants. Nice one, James. Right, next photo, and it's the bathroom. And again, not too bad. It's small, but it's got everything you need. A small sink, a toilet, of course, and a shower. All in all, James, it's a nice flat. And Callum says it's only 10 minutes from the city centre. He loves it. Of course, it's a lot smaller than our house. Do you want to see it? Hang on, I'm sure I've got photos here. Here we are. Of course, our house is bigger than James's flat. A lot bigger. Check it out. It's got 4 large bedrooms, including my room, which has a beautiful little balcony with a view of the gardens. Downstairs, we've got a lovely dining room, and we have a kitchen with 2 ovens, 4 sinks, and 5 huge fridges. That's where our chefs cook all our delicious meals, of course. Yep, it's an amazing place. The only problem is, it isn't real. This is our real house. Sure, It's smaller and cheaper than the house of my dreams, but it's still nice. What about you? What's the house of your dreams? A huge mansion or a modern house with a pool? Post your comments below and let us know. We'll check them out when Callum's back. But for now, see you guys next time.
What's your new home like?
It's a large flat in the city centre.
How many rooms are there?
7. The first room you get to is the living room.
What's the living room like?
It's long and there's a comfortable dark red sofa on the left and a TV on the right.
Is there a dining room?
No, there isn't. But there's a small table in the kitchen and we usually eat there. Next to the big fridge, there's a door which opens onto a large balcony with some chairs and a table on it.
How many bedrooms are there?
There are 3. My room and my parents' bedroom are on the left of the living room, and my brother's room is the first room on the right.
What's your bedroom like?
It's very large, and it's got a big cupboard in it, and a huge bed in the middle of the room.
How many bathrooms are there?
There are 2 on the right at the end of the hall. The big one has got a toilet, a sink and a bath in it, and the little one only has a shower. My brother always uses that one because it's next to his bedroom.
What colour are the rooms in your house?
They're all cream except a pale green bathroom and my dark blue bedroom.
What's your favourite room and why?
It's my bedroom, of course, because it's clean and tidy, and I've got all my favourite things in it, like my books, my clothes, and my computer.
The UK's capital is a great city to work in, but it's also a very expensive place to live. As a result, more and more people are deciding to live on houseboats, especially young people such as students, because they haven't got much money. Today, there are about 4,000 houseboats in the city, and Jake is living on one of them in East London. This area of the city has got more houseboats in it than any other place in England. Jake's got a job in the centre, and he is always the first person to arrive at work because he can walk there in only 10 minutes. The other people at his work take the train or bus because they live much further away. Jake's 2-bedroom houseboat costs £700 a month. This is cheaper than a much smaller 1-bedroom flat further from the city centre. Jake is happier in his new home because the people in the other houseboats next to him always say hello and chat, which is unusual in a flat. But living on a houseboat isn't always easy. Jake says it's worse in the winter than the summer. In January, he often wears a ski jacket and a hat in bed because it's much colder than many houses or flats.
Hello. Today, we're in the city centre, and it's very busy. I want to ask some people on the street what they think about these unusual houses. Excuse me, sir. Can I ask you some questions for our TV programme, Amazing Homes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'd like you to compare these photos. Here's the seashell house, and this is its living room. And here's a photo of the crazy house, and this is its bathroom. What do you think of them?
Wow. Well, they're both very strange. I can't believe these houses are real.
I can tell you, these are real houses. The crazy house is in Edersee, in Germany, and the seashell house is in Mexico City.
Well, the German house is definitely stranger than the Mexican one. I can't imagine seeing a toilet over my head, and there are chairs over the balcony instead of on it. I'm sure that it's more difficult to clean the crazy house, so it's probably dirtier too.
That's a good point. Which house do you prefer, and why?
Well, the crazy house is funnier, and it's got a big bathroom. But I think I prefer the seashell house. The yellow sofa in the living room looks really comfortable, and that colourful wall next to it is beautiful.
Great. Thank you for your time.
I hate this classroom. It doesn't look interesting and it isn't tidy.
What's the first thing we can do to make it look newer and cleaner?
Why don't we take down the older projects on the walls?
I agree. And let's tidy the books too.
I find group work more difficult when my classmates are sitting behind me. It isn't comfortable to turn around.
I think that we need to buy some bigger tables.
Maybe a cheaper and easier idea is to use the furniture we have.
Okay then. Let's change the position of our tables. Let's put these two next to each other and these two in front of each other. That way it's much easier to work together, face to face.
Great idea! I think that a more serious problem is a lot of us are feeling stressed. Our classroom needs to become a safer and friendlier place.
How about making an area where you can sit quietly and think?
Cool! Let's buy a sofa and put it next to the window where there's more light.
Good idea. But a sofa is expensive. So maybe 2 comfortable chairs is a better idea?
I find the white walls in our classroom really boring. Why don't we change the colour?
How about choosing 3 main colours? A lighter colour and 2 darker ones.
Great idea! Let's paint one wall pale pink and the other 2 dark red.
I'm not so sure. Maybe blue is a better colour than red.
I think our classroom isn't very wheelchair friendly. The door is very narrow.
I agree. I think we need to make the door bigger.
I'm not so sure. It's difficult to change a door. We've got a lot of space in the hall, and the doors are wider too. Why don't we sometimes work there?
Good idea. And let's think about which other big rooms we can use.
These busy squares both have tall buildings and wide streets, and both have many visitors. Times Square in New York has around 300,000 tourists, and Leicester Square in London has around 200,000 every day. Both Tulum and Acapulco are famous beaches in Mexico. Tulum is on the Caribbean Sea, and the city of Acapulco is on the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific is much deeper than the Caribbean. It is over 10,000 meters deep in some places. The North Sea is in northern Europe, and it's a part of the Atlantic Ocean. The Caspian Sea is between Europe and Asia, and it's larger than the North Sea, but it's really a lake. It is also ancient because it's 5.5 million years old. Singapore is an island between Malaysia and Indonesia. It has got some beautiful thick forests in it. But Singapore is much more famous for its tall buildings and other interesting examples of modern architecture. The Nile River is 6,695 kilometers long, and it flows through the deserts in North Africa. The Amazon River flows through the South American rainforest. It is also a very long river, but it is 250 kilometers shorter than the Nile.
At over 8,848 meters high, Everest is the highest mountain in the world. The longest river in Europe is the Volga in Russia. New Zealand is the furthest country from the UK. The two countries are over 18,000 kilometers apart. The Yarlung Tsangpo in Tibet, China, is the world's deepest and longest canyon. The most expensive city in the world is Singapore, and it also has some of the best schools. The world's smallest country is Vatican City in Rome. It's only 0.5 square kilometers in size and is much smaller than the island of Manhattan in New York City. The world's largest and thickest forest is the Amazon rainforest, and many of the most unusual plants and animals live in it too. The world's biggest national park is in Greenland. It is nearly as big as France and Spain put together, but only 40 people live there.
Go along the corridor, past the library and the ICT room.
Sorry, could you repeat that, please? Go along the corridor.
Yes, and go past the library and ICT room on the left.
OK.
Then go down the stairs and turn right.
Down the stairs and turn right. I see.
Then go along this corridor.
OK.
Then go through the doors. There are two.
Through two doors.
Yes. Then it's on the right.
Great. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, please. Where's the head teacher's room?
At the main entrance, go along this corridor, then turn left and go through the door.
Excuse me. Could you speak more slowly, please?
Sure. At the main entrance, go along the corridor, then...
Excuse me, please. I'm looking for the ECT room.
Sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Yes, I'm looking for the ICT room.
Ah, the ICT room is up the stairs. It's on the right, opposite the teacher's room.
Sorry, what does opposite mean?
It's on the other side of the corridor.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I live in a flat in Edinburgh with my mum, dad and sister. It's the top flat in a tall, narrow building in the centre of the city. We live in one of the more popular areas of Edinburgh, which means it's also more expensive. I like it here because it's only 10 minutes from the city centre, but the problem is it's very noisy. That's because there are a lot of cars and people. It's worse in the summer because many visitors come then.
At the moment, I'm staying in a huge house in the country. It has a large garden, 6 bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, a living room, and a dining room. It's very quiet here because the house is near a forest. There are 2 other houses, but this one is the biggest and the most beautiful. The only problem is, I'm only here for 2 weeks. That's because this isn't my house. I'm house-sitting for my uncle and aunt. I usually live in the town, in a small house with my parents.
I live on a houseboat. It's okay in the summer, but it's very cold in winter. At night, I wear a jumper and a coat when I sleep. The boat is also very small and uncomfortable. It's very narrow and I can't cook in the kitchen. I often go to cafes and that's expensive. There are other people in boats close to mine, but I don't know any of them because people aren't friendly here. I know flats are more expensive, but my friends live in the city. They say I can move in with them.
I live with my friends in a flat in the city centre. I like it here because it only takes 5 minutes to walk to my university. It's fun too because there are lots of shops and restaurants near the flat. But one day I would like to move to Italy. I think Tuscany is the most beautiful place to be. I'd like to live in an old house in a village with views of trees and hills. But for now, I'm happy with my friends in the city.
We are very lucky because my parents have a holiday home in South Wales. The house is opposite one of the longest and most beautiful beaches in the UK. The house is very large and modern. The best views are from the balcony. You can see right across the sea. We usually come here in the summer, but also in December and for a couple of weeks in April. It's very popular with visitors, and August is the busiest month. But this isn't a problem because the beaches are big and they are usually still empty.
Dubrovnik Summer Festival. Last year, my family and I travelled to Croatia on a summer holiday. We stayed in Dubrovnik because we wanted to see a famous cultural event called the Dubrovnik Summer Festival. First, we walked around the crowded old city streets. Then we visited the Arts Festival. We watched many incredible events, such as a great dance show by a traditional Croatian music and dance group. My sister loved the guitar concerts, but I preferred the piano concerts. We both hated the jazz orchestra. We planned to see Shakespeare's Hamlet, but our holiday finished before we could go. I really enjoyed my time in Croatia.
Last summer, I visited Cusco, a beautiful old city in Peru. I travelled there with my parents and my older brother at the end of June. We only stayed for a week, but I wanted to stay longer because I enjoyed it so much. Our hotel was in the centre, so we decided to walk along the crowded streets and have dinner in the amazing restaurants every evening. I really wanted to go up to Machu Picchu, an ancient city high in the Andes Mountains, but it was too far away. So we stayed in Cusco the whole time and visited many beautiful old buildings there instead. But on the 24th of June, something really incredible happened. We decided to visit an ancient site only 2 kilometers from Cusco. We wanted to see the Sun Festival. All of a sudden, lots of people in very colourful costumes started walking in our direction, and the streets filled with music, dancing, and flowers. I discovered the Sun Festival, or Inti Raymi, was the Inca people's New Year's celebration. These days, it's the second biggest festival in Latin America, with over 200,000 visitors every year. I really loved that holiday.
Hello, students! Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to research information online. Firstly, you need to know what information to look for. For example, if you want information about an artist for a school art project, it is a good idea to start by writing down all the things you want to find out. You can also write some questions you want answers to, such as, why are Picasso's paintings in so many different styles? Next, open your first source, for example, an online article. Read it quickly, and if you can't understand it, then look for a different source. If it gives you the right type of information and it answers your questions, then ask yourself, does it look like the author knows a lot about the subject? Does it say where the facts come from? If the answer is yes, then decide what the main purpose of the article is. Is it trying to teach you something? Or is it trying to sell something? Does it contain true facts or only the writer's opinions? Remember that articles with very strong opinions are not usually the best source of information for research. After that, you need to check how recent the article is. Look at the date when the author posted or shared it. If it is a year old, the information might not be true now. And finally, when you find some information that seems useful to you, you need to check that it is also correct. Look at some other sources to find out if they give you the same information. And if you aren't sure about any articles or information you find, just continue searching on the internet. And lastly, when I was a teenager, I had a daily blog about painting because I loved art. I still do. And I think it's great that anybody can post articles online now. However, it's important to remember that you can't believe everything you read on the internet.
Minnie Monet. The newspapers were interested in Kieran Williamson as a child because he could paint like a master. In his first exhibition in 2008, aged 6, the reviews were excellent. After that, his nickname was Minnie Monet. People couldn't stop buying his brilliant paintings. In 3 years, Kieran and his family were rich. They had £1.5 million. At the age of 14, he appeared in the TV show The Making of a Master. But his mum wasn't happy with his education. He couldn't go to school because he was too busy and famous.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Pablo Picasso were both very talented children. Mozart could play the piano and violin at 4 years old. His father wrote and performed music, but he soon learned his son was much better than he was, so he organized shows for him in Vienna. The young Austrian was very famous after he played original pieces on the piano in an important theatre. They couldn't believe how brilliant the 6-year-old boy was. After that, everybody wanted to hear him play. Spanish artist Pablo Picasso wasn't the same as other children either. His first words weren't "Mummy, Daddy" like most children. His first word was pencil. As a boy, Picasso could draw wonderful pictures before he could write. Picasso finished his earliest painting, the Picador, when he was just 9 years old. And by 13, Picasso was an excellent student at the School of Fine Arts in Barcelona. Picasso was also the first artist to actually see his paintings in the famous gallery in Paris, the Louvre.
So, Joe, you're an art expert. Who's your favourite artist?
Well, I first discovered Frida Kahlo at a brilliant art exhibition when I was 15. I learned that she wasn't good at art when she was little. In fact, she only started painting as a teenager.
Really? And where was she from?
Frida Kahlo was born in Mexico City in 1907.
I see. And what was her early life like?
Well, when she was 6, she was very ill, and she couldn't get out of bed for 9 months. After that, she couldn't walk well, but she still played football and enjoyed swimming.
Wow, so it was a difficult life for her.
Yes, it was. But Frida was also clever, and in 1922, she was one of the few girls to go to school. She was famous for her original clothes and interesting character. Then, in 1925, something terrible happened to her.
Oh no, what happened?
Sadly, Frida was badly hurt in a bus accident. After that, she couldn't walk for months.
Oh, poor girl. How old was she in 1925?
Let me see. She was 18. She couldn't get up, so she decided to paint in bed. Then, in 1928, Frida asked Diego Rivera, a famous Mexican artist, to look at her paintings.
Interesting. What was his opinion of them?
Well, he believed they were wonderful and she had a special talent. Diego and Frida married in 1929. Her parents weren't happy because he was 20 years older than her. After that, in 1930, they decided to live in the USA because lots of Diego's shows were there. But Frida missed Mexico, so they returned home 3 years later.
I understand. When was Frida's first exhibition?
In 1938, in New York. And then, in 1939, there was another one in Paris. But Frida and Diego weren't happy, so their marriage ended in 1939. Then, in 1940, they married each other again, and they decided to live separate lives.
How strange.
I know. Next, in 1940, she decided to become a full-time artist, and she couldn't stop painting after that. In the end, she painted 143 works of art, and 55 of those were excellent self-portraits.
Great. And how old was she when she died?
She died when she was only 47, in 1954.
Rick, are you performing in any musicals right now?
Yeah, I'm doing Grease with my theatre group. I'm Danny. He's the main character.
You're the main character! Congratulations! How amazing!
I know, but I'm a bit nervous too. Things often go wrong in theatre performances. 2 years ago, I was in a really difficult situation.
Really? Why was that?
I was in a school theatre show, and I was one of the main characters. It was Beauty and the Beast, and I was the Beast.
Wow! How wonderful!
It was, but near the end of the show, something terrible happened.
Oh no! What happened?
You know the real story. The Beast died, but then, because of Belle's love for him, he changed back into a prince. Well, I needed to quickly run off the stage and change into my prince costume. While I was there, I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find it. Can you believe it?
You couldn't find your costume? Oh no! How terrible!
It was. Anyway, after about 2 minutes, they asked me to go back and finish my performance, but I was still in my beast costume.
Poor you! What happened next?
Well, I couldn't stop the show, so I returned to the stage still dressed as the beast. As soon as I arrived, Belle looked at me strangely. She didn't understand why I was wearing the wrong clothes, so I decided to change the last part of the story. It wasn't romantic, and we just stayed friends.
You just stayed friends? No way!
And amazingly, all the students loved the new ending of our show because it was original. It was really successful in the end.
Lucky you.
I know. It's funny now, but it wasn't at the time.
Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome to my digital detox. Yep, that's right. No phone, no computer, and no tablet for a whole week. My parents think that teenagers are all phone zombies that can't live without digital devices. But I want to show they're wrong. Zara didn't want to do it at all. And that's the problem. I think my parents could be right. I mean, when I told my friends, they all thought I was crazy. They couldn't imagine life without their phones, and I wasn't sure what to expect either. But on Monday, the first thing I discovered was I had a lot more time. I usually turn on my phone as soon as I get up. Then, while I get dressed, I check my messages. And while I have breakfast, I scroll through my social media. But last Monday morning, I realized how much time I spend on my phone. I was ready for school half an hour earlier than usual. That felt good. I was even early for the bus, and that never happens. But then Tuesday was hard because I walked to school and I started to see screens all over the place. I mean, everyone was looking at phone screens, tablet screens, or laptop computer screens. At that point, I couldn't wait to go online, and I really missed my phone. But you know what? I also saw that we don't chat face to face very often. And that became a real problem when I went to see my friends on Wednesday. They were all on their tablets or phones, checking their messages or scrolling through social media. And I was bored. I imagined all the posts and messages that I couldn't read. I felt pretty left out, to be honest. I think my friends noticed and we started talking. Not in a group chat, not on social media, but just talking, in real life. By Thursday, I thought, hey, this is great. But then I realized just how useful those little devices are. I had art class and I forgot my things. Normally I text Zara and borrow hers because she has lots, but I couldn't find her. In the end, I found a friend and borrowed his. I learned that without a phone, I needed to become more organized. That's what I realized on Friday when I wanted to listen to music. I couldn't use my music library, and I had nothing to connect my cool Bluetooth speakers to. Nightmare! And today's the day I can finally get online. I mean, I definitely see there are some advantages to life without technology, and it is important to turn off your phone every now and then. But it's so hard, and you miss out on a lot too. So now I can't wait to get back on and get into my music library. Ready? Oh, the battery's dead. I forgot how much I hate that. See you guys.